You're listening to Partynerdz Weekly.
What's going on, world? This is James Grandmaster Facts Boys, and you're here for another episode of a Partynerdz exclusive. All right, so throughout the course of the MCU, when it came to the act of leadership and how it was supposed to be portrayed, you think of a few names. Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, even T'Challa might come to mind. But when it comes down to the full embodiment of what it takes to be a leader, the one person I'm bringing in has yet to even show their face to be even mentioned in the MCU. And that's Scott Summers, the unheralded leader of the X-Men, and more than that, a savior for mutant kind. Most of the Bryan Singerverse of the X-Men, the focus of those first films revolved around specific mutants. Of course, Xavier and Magneto, but even outside of that, Cyclops, portrayed by James Marsden, played third wheel to Jean Grey, and Logan, aka Wolverine. Wolverine, because of his unrelenting popularity, appeared in his own 3 solo movies with was it Wolverine Origin, The Wolverine, and Logan. All right, and rightfully so, because of his popularity. There was only one specific mutant that got his chance to actually grow, and Hugh Jackman becoming a megastar in the means to do so. So when you have a character that's as reckless, but with the ultimate healing factor that can be stabbed, shot, or maybe even blown up by a nuclear warhead, why not? Because that looks cool. But not Scott Summers. He has shown throughout his history of comics, regardless of who was writing them, that even through the veil and morals that Xavier set forth amongst mutant kind, Scott has been seen as a radical. When there's a purpose, an outlier, when his conviction tells him that he's right. And most of the time, Cyclops is right. Take, for instance, after disaster killed a massive 16 million mutants in Genosha, Xavier left to help refugees, and Scott damn near became responsible for all of mutant kind. Even though their core value is to defend mutant kind, he has no problem risking his life for the for the humans who hold prejudice towards him almost at any time. So he's almost always available to save Earth because he actually likes being a superhero. He's got major drip because his costume is always on point, whether it's been the Phoenix 5 and his outfit for there, or his basic red-lined scowl over the head with his eyepiece, or even when it was just the eyepiece and letting his hair go. His costume's always been on fire. All right. Lastly, there isn't one mutant that wouldn't run through a wall, or better yet, die for him in his efforts to fight for the cause. Because if he's the one leading the party, everybody takes orders from him. He's an Omega level mutant himself, and he usually he's one of the originals. So as far as the X-Men goes, he's always been team first because he was introduced into the team. And then as that team grew, he was still the specific leader. Whether it came to utilizing and teaching a lot of young mutants in the danger room in order to basically get their power scale set for any type of obstacle that they might face. Whatever might come in through the room and take anybody on at all aspects. But this is just exactly who he is. So there's a lot of rumbling going on about this new tier of X-Men that are going to hit the MCU. And they're looking to a person like Logan, who's going to get introduced first. Because I always look at not necessarily Professor X or Magneto as being the leads for all of mutants. I see them more as the proprietors. But when it comes to the actual X-Men team, some people even think it's Logan that's supposed to take the reins of being the leader. And I don't see that as being the case because of how reckless he is. So when you look at somebody like Cyclops, who literally from jump, somebody that's kind of been on his own, and he's even, of course, he's the middle child. He's got an older brother, Havoc. He's got his younger brother, Vulcan, who is also an Omega level mutant, who is basically, he's been geared in this manner. And we talk about the fact that even his bloodline is sort of a threat to some people. because of how Mr. Sinister is always on the lookout to basically get a hold of the Summers bloodline for DNA purposes. Because if you look at Scott's, his attitude and the way he goes about himself, out of all the mutants, why wouldn't you want that guy? This is the one person that could stand in front of Reed Richards, and cuss him out on a daily, all because he knows that his son is a mutant, and yet he's looking at it to the aspect of like, okay, just remember, Reed, Franklin, he's one of us. There's nothing you can do about that. He's a mutant just like me. And I know what it feels like to be discriminated against, to hold prejudice to, and to have some sort of like alienation towards the rest of this world. So just know that, there's only one person like that, and it has to be him. So when it comes about that this storyline comes out, I look for the lead in the MCU to obviously be Scott Summers. It has to be. All right, but let me know what you think. So feel free to check in with us at the Partynerdz on X, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you see us. You can check us out on our live podcast every Monday, 9 p.m. on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, and on X. But feel free. All right, Partynerdz go.
Partynerdz, Partynerdz, Partynerdz.